Okay, it's 8:13. At about 7:51 tonight, in the Committee of the Whole meeting of Tuesday, June 29, 2021 at 7 p.m. that is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic and following House Bill 404. A storm moved through. We lost internet connection, and that looks like that happened at 7:51 approximately. That was the last contact we had. And it is 8:13. We waited 25 minutes, almost 25 minutes, to see if we would gain Wi-Fi, access. We are still recording the meeting. The meeting will still be able to be viewed YouTube electronically in its entirety, except for the little spot in between where we stopped our meeting. We just waited, and we are also recording it through our police department too. So we are meeting the requirements. With that said, we are still in the Committee of the Whole. We left off we did go through the items. We do have other business. The only other business I have is we did receive a letter from Ed Pollack, who is a member of the AMVETS Post 80. He inquired about using the small community room across from Village Hall here once a month for an hour during the day. As we have in the past, any organization like that, we have allowed them. And I just want to make everybody aware of it. He understands, and the group understands, that if there was a village event that needed to be in there, such as a funeral, training, or something, they would be second to that, and they would have no problem rescheduling. They would be appreciative. There's about 8 to 10 members that show up. Being a veteran association, I thought it was, a nonprofit, thought it would be something something good to do. We can, if council's good with that, I just like your consensus, so we're all on the same page, because I know people ask us those same questions about the different rooms. We can make a motion just to show we're all in agreement.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
I was just curious, because he says the community facility, is he talking, and I think we need to come up with a better way for our room names, because we've got community room, community center.
It should be community room event center.
Yeah, he's talking, it's the one right across from us, the little one.
So that's
Right
always
here.
community
Right here,
room.
yes.
Okay, all right, I was just curious
Right across from-
which one it was
Yeah,
that
it's the
they,
one right across
since
from
they did
Village
say.
Hall. So should we, as we do them, as I say that, do we want to make make a motion now, we'll do them individually?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that the AMVETS Post 80 can use the community room once a month on Tuesdays for their meetings.
Second.
Second.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. The other one I have, you have another letter from Debbie Kozak, a resident of Walton Hills, also a member of Bedford Schools Foundation. Let me get the letter here from her. And they have requested, they're going to talk to Natalie and work out a day to have a fundraiser function for the Bedford City Schools Foundation. The foundation is a 501c3 that hosts fundraisers to support scholarships and many grants that typically fall outside of the district's budget. I know Mr. Spitznagel got the call from resident Debbie Kozak. Brian, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
No, I just to say I support this fully. It's a wonderful foundation that gives many scholarships. Just reviewing the letter here, $312,000 to students totaling 106 scholarships since 1995, and I'm happy to support this.
Okay. So the other thing, and she didn't ask for, but I thought I'd bring it up to council is, and we have in the past for certain fundraisers we have that have been nonprofit, that we have the option of waiving the fee. And I thought that would be our way of supporting the foundation and contributing to their scholarship fund. So I just wanted to see if all of council was comfortable with that. And they did give us our certificate, as you said, she did attach it. I just kept that with Angela because that's more of a financial thing. So, but she did send us their tax exempt from the federal government. So what is in the letter is what's in the letter. So I thought we could make a motion for that if council agrees with that.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to waive that fee so that the funds can be used by the Bedford City School Foundation for their scholarships. And we do have over 230 school-age children in the village. So I would believe that some of our students at some point are going to be recipients of this. I certainly hope so.
Or have.
Or have been already,
Have
yes.
been in the past.
Second.
I have a question on the motion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in favor of this, but what about the maintenance piece? Who picks up that?
No, they would, Ray, the only thing
Strictly the rental fee.
yeah, it would just be the rental fee. So for the police, they would need security. For that, they would have to put their deposit in
Okay.
case something was wrong. And I don't think, it would just strictly be, if they rent the one room, if it's $850 or $750, because Debbie's a resident, it would just strictly be for that fee. If they have alcohol, since we don't know all the details, which they probably would, they would need a police officer, they would take care of that. Because there's cash involved with that.
Right.
And that's kind of a separate thing. So to keep it clean, we just thought it would just be the waiver of the rental fee. Does
Okay.
that sound?
Yeah, that answers my question.
Okay. And I think that would probably be a fair way of doing it too.
Sure.
Because they have to, the police get paid, differently and all that. So it's easy for them to handle that.
Ready for a vote?
Okay, so yeah.
Any
So
other questions?
it was made by Jennifer, seconded by Brian, and then
Yep. Ready? Councilwoman Bremer Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Weed?
Yes.
okay, I think the only other thing I have before making a motion for July and August, if council wants a recess, is don't need a motion for this or anything. And some of this, some people here might be aware of it. I know Ray and Gloria were at the senior lunch. As you know, we've been talking that the Women's Club approached us a few months ago about wanting to donate money for a flagpole at the event center. Well, Sharon Orland, I was talking to her. Rob he didn't get a quote. He basically looked this up online, but looking and talking to people, we would need about a 35-foot flagpole at the event center since there isn't one there. Okay, and it's funny how this thing evolved. Then another Women's Club person kind of said to me, "Well, what does it cost?" And I told them, they said, "Oh, well, I think we're only want to have this much." And then I got an email from another Women's Club member asking me, "Do you have a quote for the flagpole and the plaque?" Because they have a meeting last Tuesday. I said, "Well, we really don't have it for the plaque, but we do have a thing." And I said, "But I'm dealing with Sharon." So I called Sharon. I said, "Well, Sharon, I'll answer that email, but I'll copy you on it. Give me your email." So everybody in the women's club's on the same page. So that was Tuesday of last week. I come in on Wednesday, look at my messages, Mayor, we have a check for you for $2,000. And I'm like, well, I haven't, gotten all the details worked out, this and that. And she says, and I want to drop it off at the senior luncheon. So that happened, but just so you know, I just kind of gave I told her, I said, well, you move a lot, the women's club moves a lot faster than government. I said, you're moving. So I kind of told that little story, and they got a chuckle out of it. But I just want to let you know, we would have a regular dedication. They did take a picture with me with Pat Perchinsky and Cheryl Orland with the check, but I wanted all of us to be part of that, so we would have a nice dedication when we work out the details. So now they're making us move a little faster because we do have a check from, but I thought, and it will probably cover most of it, it will probably, talking to Rob, we'll do it in-house, probably setting it and stuff like that and get the specifics on it. So with that said, I just kind of wanted to make everybody aware of that. So a very positive thing. They like that event center and they would like to have a flagpole, and I think it should have a flagpole. I'm sure everybody here agrees. It's one of our municipal buildings. It's a building that we do have gatherings. We probably should have a flagpole there. So it's a nice thing. We'll get a plaque, and so there will be a small expense, and I'll let everybody know what that is. And then the other thing would be a motion to adjourn for July and August unless a special meeting was needed. And that's how it will be in the journal. If everybody agrees with putting the July journal, council is in recess unless needed.
Mhm.
So and I think that's how you put it in the owl too, I think.
Yeah, but I believe we had on there if needed.
Yes.
Did we need a motion for the road maintenance program for Joe
Oh,
to
yeah.
put bids together?
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
just
that's
talking
what
about
we
that.
talked
I was
about,
waiting
yeah.
for that one.
Okay, well then, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for our,
What, was Ray gonna?
Go ahead.
oh, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
Either way, I just only said that because he mentioned it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ray.
That's up to you guys.
Mayor Colgraf, members of council, I'd like to offer a motion to authorize the village engineer to prepare bid specifications and publicly advertise for the Village of Walton Hills 2021 road maintenance program.
Second.
Second, by Gloria? Okay.
Well, both, yeah. That was a tie.
All right, we'll give it to Gloria.
We'll go to Gloria Brunner Miller.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
So then the only motion left would be to recess
Recess.
before we go into our special council meeting.
Mr.
What's
Mayor?
And the budget discussion, yes.
Mr.
One
Mayor?
last motion.
I'd like to make a motion to recess for July and August 2020 unless needed for a special meeting.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Second by Jennifer Allen.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller.
Yes.
Councilman Linville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen.
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky.
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So we will move on. Still other business, we're still in other business. Did you want to give a
Yeah.
budget
So I
update?
handed out to everyone just through the end of April's general fund piece of the report. I'm going to condense reports still and then give you full for everything. And May will be included. June, I'll be going on vacation soon, so I'll try to wrap it up while I'm on vacation. I may not have the report to you till I'm back. But I know we wanted to condense some lines and get rid of things we don't need. So if you look at the last page, we are still in the black, about $4,084 roughly. So running a little lean, but we've paid bills for Dunham. Obviously, we don't have county reimbursement for Dunham yet either, and I'm waiting on one check from Maple, so that was to be expected a little bit. I do have to just move some money around from the bond construction fund into that capital improvement fund eventually. just to basically cover, it's a wash, but just to move money where we stashed it when the note came in and cover the capital costs for spending to Fabrizi. So take time to look at that, let me know. I know you don't have the specifics about the revenue and expense line, so when you get that and you have questions, feel free to contact me while I'm gone. I will be checking emails, voicemails, I'm happy to have a conversation about budget while I'm on vacation, that's not a big deal. Tax revenue overall for the whole year up 5.6% as of the end of May, so that's fantastic. Withholdings down about 100,000, but that's nothing really. And then we are up just over 100% on individual tax over last year, end of May, and up 98% on net profit tax. So that means a lot of people were not necessarily filing extensions till October. So that's fantastic for, given it was a COVID year and we didn't know where to land. So that's kind of my basics here. So I don't, it's my recommendation that we don't really have any planning to do to adjust anything in the budget currently. I will go over with department heads where they're at with line items. And then if I think that anything needs to change, I could bring it up. But I think right now, obviously, there's not money out there to spend, so to speak, or to go reallocate to anything else.
And we
Still no money from the government.
That's what I was gonna ask, nothing
Still
from
no money
CARES.
from the government. No.
Okay.
I know, they're gonna wait till the end of the year, then not give it till the end of the year, it needs to be spent in the way they're going, so. Again,
We haven't gotten any, I haven't seen anything, because I know the three of us are always forward, and anything we receive in town too, nothing.
no, everybody's registered in the SAM system, that basically we were already anyway, because we use it for other grants, and so that was the requirement to make sure you were all up and running with your DUNS number and registered in the SAM system. That's how they were gonna go ahead and make the deposit, or, and award the money, but nothing yet. And I haven't, nothing else new. Nothing's changed or been updated either with the way things can be spent. I think that the rules they set in place are pretty much, that's gonna be it. Oh, on the municipal income tax side, in the House and Senate bills, there was language, I think last time we spoke, I told you to go back and allow for people to request refunds on 2020 and 21. For that whole I went to home to work now versus I was at my office. Language was updated to suggest that they can attempt to ask for a refund on 2021 only. So this hasn't passed yet, but that's where we're at with it. And then there's also some other pending case that might fall in favor of municipalities, depending on how that case turns out, to not have to give the refunds at all. Again, I don't anticipate that affecting us as much. We're manufacturing here. That's going to hit the service industry cities a lot harder than it would have for us. But that's kind of where we're at. They shored up the language to not go retroactive to 2020. So it'll be a discretionary thing as of this moment if what's in there passes. So if someone did come to me for the refund, then I could mull it over a little bit and say, let's get proof and see how many days. So that's where we stand with that. Still kind of out there. I'm sure they're going to try to pass stuff and take a recess as well. So I'll keep you posted if anything passes. John, anything else you can think of?
No.
That's it.
Governor could possibly veto some of these things today.
John, if you want to grab your mic,
I mean,
it's out there in front, right?
Yes, sir. So that the governor's last chance to veto is actually tonight, I believe, or perhaps tomorrow to change any of the things happening in the state. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting. As we all know, a lot of things get buried. If they're not looking good over here by themselves, they get buried into other bills. You might not have paid attention because it didn't really relate to that bill. So we'll see where we end up on the other side of things.
There's supposed to be an item like that, Angela, that I heard about at the federal level of giving money specifically for police departments.
Yes. So one thing I did receive, Officer Kwiatkowski forwarded me something that was actually like I think a one-time bonus payment type of thing. So we're gonna look into how I can get money for that, and again have them apply for that. And then yes, they were trying to, because right now, even when the state money comes in, to use it for any kind of first responder pay, it's for premium pay. Where the CARES Act money we had in the passed, I was able to go ahead and, use it toward the fire contract, use it toward police part-time, if they worked more hours. Now it's gonna be a little tighter on, did we have to add more services because of the pandemic, so. But yeah, so I'll keep you posted, anytime a grant thing comes up, Stan and I are on it, we're trying to look for stuff, so.
Do we have anybody in the police department also watching for grants and things like
Well,
that?
yeah, Officer Kwiatkowski's been sending me stuff.
Okay.
And Stan's very good about looking out for the grants too. so.
Okay.
And Shannon looks out for things in the
Shannon.
dispatch side,
Yeah,
and anything
we're all
to do
kind
with
of
the
twirling
emergency
for grants.
management, she does a good job too. In fact, we talked a little bit about that today with the staff.
Yeah, because there were a few things with the Ohio EMS, but I get notifications on that, but some of it does not apply to the police departments, and some of it seems like it does,
Right.
and stuff too, so I know just Ohio EMS does.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so different because we contract our fire, so some of the fire stuff are like EMS, like you're talking about, we don't
Right.
see, we have to look for it.
Mhm.
Mayor, I have a couple of questions for Angela, if she can.
Yes.
The first one is on page 1, general fund, the intergovernmental
Revenue?
group, the other. Can you just kind of share what makes up where that 37,391 in the general sense? Maybe you don't know specifically, but where does that come from?
So these would be grants or anything awarded into us, in the grant section specifically, that would be money that would come into us from, it could be from NEORSD, it could be from the county on road programs and things like that. So, so the 37 we've received was probably from the county on some programs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my next question is, with, now that the fire contract
Yeah.
has been resolved, how will that
I
be?
have to make an adjustment. I spoke to the auditor about this last week, which is just another update. He's just about finished. He's waiting on a couple pieces from me. And then we should hopefully have our audit report here soon.
Okay, let me finish the question.
Go ahead.
So how will the adjustment of the dollars that we are not receiving but not paying, how will we see that on
That's what I was
paper?
getting to. I
Okay.
need to make an adjustment for that. So I have to map out how I'm going to make it, because what will happen is I will adjust off what we owe on the fire contract to show it as revenue coming into the dispatch contract. What you see in there now, that little $5,600 overage, that was the difference they owed us on the wash of our fire contract to date, first and second quarter. So now I've received the fire contract for third quarter. They have already received their dispatch bill for the entire year. And so I will reach out to Brian, their finance director, and say, okay, let's go ahead and, we're gonna start cutting our checks to each other going forward, separate. But I do need to go in and physically make an adjustment. So right now, all you're seeing is that it looks like we haven't paid fire, and it looks like they still haven't paid either, but that's because we netted it. So I do have to put an adjustment in there. I will let you know when it's made. It will affect those same two line items, but yeah, I just have to figure out exactly how I want to adjust that.
And I think at that time, we should have this, at least have maybe put a little summary together so we can all follow it, so you can see exactly what amount, how it was offset, what they owed us and how we offset. I think
Absolutely.
that would be good for all of us to understand that.
Yeah.
So we, just so we all know everything's accounted for.
You got it. And so these last, starting with, third quarter, we're all back to par for both sides of the service.
Is that what you're looking for too, Ray? Would that would?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I think it would be good for, because
I'll give you some.
there was, they owed us, but then we offset it with us not paying because we didn't pay the one quarter, so we offset that. So it'd be good to see exactly how, how the exchange took place.
Yeah, I'll give you all the figures.
Yep, that will work.
Yeah, I have two more questions. Just want to, just for clarification, because I don't have documents going all the way back to January. I don't know what this page is called, what number this is, but under the mayor's court,
Look at your top, your staple might be on your page number, I'm sorry.
there's no
It's up in
page.
that top corner.
No, maybe it's under the state. It's the second from the last
Second
page.
last.
Second last,
Okay.
Should be page 8.
So it's going to be, I'm going to ask the same question for this mayor's court as well as second-party service, which is on the final page. So in the mayor's court category, it's showing revenue budgeted for 2021 of $0. This one is, but we have actual of 90,000 of revenue so far in 2021. So I'm just questioning whether or not that 0 is an accurate number, that we did not, there was no budgeted revenue
We don't
for.
usually budget in that line, correct?
Okay, and then
We
the
don't
same,
budget in that line.
and then the same would be for the next page where it's second-party service. We don't budget there either.
Correct. Correct. So just let me know, I know we talked about, you guys said you just wanted to see actuals for the previous couple of years, so I just did, I hid the columns in printing things, but if you want to ever pull that out and see, you know what I mean, we can pull out the budgeted lines too, so you can see what was not budgeted for.
Okay, that answers my question.
You know, I'd like to make a motion that everybody's just allowed 2 questions a meeting.
Honestly, call me anytime.
No,
Busting your chops.
I don't know.
I
We would, well, I waited to the last meeting to do it, okay?
We can make a motion.
Trying to get this all short of everybody, so I appreciate your patience, and before I leave Friday, if you'll have stuff, so as you mull it over, do not hesitate to shoot me an email and say, hey, can you call me later when you're not in the pool or not at Disney? I'm happy to discuss the stuff, because really, with the CBA and the budget getting actually passed so late, like, this has been such a stretched out year, and then tax season in the middle. So now that I'm in my like lull season, because all the tax returns that mean something are in the system, and like we're finally like in the home stretch before it's time to start over again.
Because we're not having meetings, and Ray,
Yeah, we absolutely.
you guys all know.
Well, one of the reasons I asked those 2 questions is because if you add those 2 actual revenue amounts together, it totals over $119,000. So the fact that we started the year not budgeting anything in those categories, but actually have received $119,000 in those categories, and yet we are, just $4,000 in the black. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's a bonus, but it's good that those numbers are there, but it still reflects that we are really running really tight. That's all.
Right, no, well taken. But I guess I just want to say, because we recess, don't hesitate, come in the office, sit down with Angela or any of the department, which everybody does exercise, which is great. I'm glad everybody here does take the time to do that, or call Tom, or call John, or myself, whatever we need to do, because it certainly is good that we're all, all understand what's going on.
Okay.
Anything else, Angela, budget-wise, that we see?
Not that I can think of. No.
Angela, can you give just like a 2-minute for the edification of our residents and even our employees? Because you and I had this discussion about exactly how our budget works compared to how corporate budgets work.
Okay, well, I don't know if that edification is a 2-minute thing. One of the things that I have mentioned, and not really mentioning it even in kidding, is, a little bit of a government finance 101 training for all our departments, because we're grateful that our departments are frugal and try to maintain, but at the same time, when it comes to funding for government, it's not just that I brought money into basket A over here, and so that stays with that department. It's, it's great that that money came in, and yes, part of it's gonna go toward that department, but at the end of the year, in a general fund, the best description I gave is that we're all married to each other. So we're going to have places we saved money, places we overspent potentially by a little bit. And when you report to the auditor of state, you're gonna even all that out. You can't have negative fund balances. So it's also not like you're checking, right? You got your checkbook at home, and then you might have your savings account. So in your savings account, you've got stuff that you may not use this year, but you're going to use next year. We have certain things we earmark, and that we have to earmark by ordinance and by law. But if I've got some money sitting in pot A this year, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna just see that again next year if it didn't get spent. It's there, but it's mixed in with everything else, so, I know that's sometimes hard to wrap your head around when you're not in accounting at all, let alone, hey, my department makes this versus that, It's not like being at Lincoln Electric where you're getting paid by the piece and, you know what I mean? That's gonna reflect in your paycheck. It's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. If I'm saving money on the finance end for the year, but Stan overspends, we're gonna net each other out. So,
But what does happen, and at least what we've seen here and being on council is, it does balance itself out.
Mhm.
So maybe
That's what it does.
one year, one department saved a little bit and didn't have that expense because maybe just like what we went through with the pandemic, where we had people off and the police had to cover some overtime, this and that. So they had a little more expenditure. Maybe the service department was able to be a little more frugal. But then the following year, they had an expense with a truck that went. But the police department, you kind of, you're, like you said, it's
all
almost
back
like a
and
marriage.
forth.
You're all in it together and you're all helping each other somewhat. But at the end of the day, all of us being frugal and keeping our budget within what we budgeted for is all our
Parameters.
jobs. That's really what it boils down
Absolutely.
to is and working together as the team. And we're very fortunate they all do that.
everyone does.
But
do
I
that.
understand it's kind of hard, I mean, when a department head says, well, for the last 3 years, I've been the only
Right.
one under budget, and now I need to spend that money and it's not there. Well, like you mentioned, it is tough.
Well, and that's why I asked Mr. Mayor, because I know that, the service department has done certain things to bring in money, and the rec department is done with the event center to bring in, and the officers, are writing tickets and, go write more tickets, we need the money, or whatever. But then they don't understand that can't just stay there with them. So that's why I
Right,
said,
for
and I
certain-
think it would be.
certain things it does, and for most it doesn't. I mean,
I
think
think
about
it-
it, if I'm out writing tickets, but then I do have to still pay for vehicle maintenance and fuel for the vehicles. So
Sure.
there's expenses that always go along with every revenue you're bringing in as well, within those departments.
Right, but I think it
So-
would be a good thing also if there is an opportunity to, maybe,
Try to find
maybe a
quick
couple
and
of,
dirty version of.
yeah, maybe even just like a couple of sessions, so you can get
Absolutely.
different employees there and stuff, so they do know. And I will say also, I do appreciate how much the employees do give back and forth. That was the first year that Carol and Carlene gave up Community Day because Rob needed in the service department. And they saw that as being more important
Right.
and stuff. So, they have, and I think they understand some, but I do understand their frustrations with it because I don't think they
Absolutely.
have the full understanding.
That'd be good. We can have
We can do something.
I know just to kind of, we had that from HR Partners, they did that Your Best Professional Self, which was professionalism is for everyone. Anybody that couldn't make it, there will be an opportunity to go online.
I'll actually send out, I have her presentation, and we had 2 sessions that I attended, so I have all the notes that we put up on the wall and discussions. I'm gonna throw those together and send that out to everyone. We had a handful of people that need that, so I know a couple of you did as well that were out of town.
And Amy she just did a great job again. She just does really, I feel, a good job with those presentations. Because she gets everybody involved, whether you want to or not. She has little
She brags
breakout
with candy.
groups and stuff, which, creates conversation. But the only reason I brought that up, talking to the department heads today, is if they feel there's anything else we need. Amy is going to probably put another compliance one together that is out there that we talked about after the meeting. But that is, certainly can't go wrong having in-departmental training, because
Absolutely.
having you do some training or having somebody come in is very good. So I have nothing else for the COW meeting. Does anybody have any more questions relating to the budget? The only thing I do have to say, we did receive, and I want to forward you guys this, I just got this at the end of the day today, from Kimball. It just said, it was to Rob and CC to me. Please know that due to the 4th of July holiday being on Sunday this year, scheduled collection days will remain the same. Okay, have a safe and fun 4th, please look, okay. So we'll post it tomorrow, you know, on the web pages and stuff, but just in case anybody were to ask you, the garbage disposal is the same. Okay. I'll send you that email, I'll send you the email too.
What day is City Hall closed for the residents?
Monday.
Monday
Monday
would be
the
our employees' observed holiday because it fell on Sunday. So the village hall will be closed on Monday. Okay. So, and Sarah, we're just going to go right into the other meetings if everybody's good with that. Can I get a motion for adjournment of the committee of the whole meeting?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment of the Committee of the Whole of Tuesday, June 29th, 2021.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mary Brenner Miller.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, is everybody ready?
Yep.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the special council meeting of Tuesday, June 29th at 2020, year 2021 at 8:49. This meeting is being live streamed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are following House Bill 404 that allows public bodies to meet electronically through July 2021. Because of the loss of internet, we are recording the meeting, and it will be available on YouTube. We are also recording it through our own means through the Village Hall here, through the police department. So let's call the order. Roll call.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Here.
Councilman Linville?
Present.
Councilwoman Allen?
Here.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Here.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Here.
Councilman Whedon?
Present.
All council present, along with our law solicitor, John Montello, our fiscal officer, Angela Rive, and our economic development consultant, Tom Jordan. We have two pieces of legislation on tonight, which we reviewed in the COW meeting. Tom, did you have something to say before we move to these Okay. Who would like to introduce for suspension ordinance 2021-14?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to, first of all, make a motion to amend the CRA agreement with Smith & Obie Company attached as Exhibit C to this ordinance, 2021-14, so as to amend Section 1 to reflect an increase in the estimated project costs from $700,000 to $900,000.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Who got it?
I'm giving it to Mr. Linville. Sorry, Mary. Who's louder? All right.
Vote on the motion?
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
And Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask for suspension of ordinance 2021-14 as amended, and ordinance authorizing the village to enter into a community reinvestment area tax abatement with Smith & Obie Company for property located at 7676 Northfield Road in the village of Walton Hills.
Second.
Second by Mr. Linville.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Suspension passed?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask for adoption of ordinance number 2021-14
Second.
as amended.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance passed, 6-0. Thank you, everybody. Item B, ordinance 2021-15, Smith and Obi sale of land.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to introduce for suspension, ordinance 2021-15, an ordinance authorizing the village to transfer title it holds to a certain property to a private purchaser for economic development purposes and declaring an emergency.
Second.
second by Jennifer Allen.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, suspension passed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption of ordinance 2021-15.
Second.
Second by Jennifer Allen.
Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky? Yes. Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance passed 6-0. Thank you, everybody. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment of the special council meeting Tuesday, June 29th, 2021.
Second.
Second by,
I'll give it to Mary. I keep shortchanging her. Councilwoman Brenner Miller?
Yes.
Councilman Linville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Terlasky?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
okay, adjournment passed 6-0. We adjourned at 8:54 PM. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good holiday.